Today, we will talk about D.B. Cooper. It's the only unsolved hijacking case in the history of commercial aviation. On the afternoon of November 24, 1971 Thanksgiving Eve, a man aboard a flight from Portland to Seattle threatened to detonate a bomb if he didn't receive a hefty ransom. Once he got the money, the hijacker released all passengers and ordered the crew to fly to Mexico. En route, with cash in hand, the man parachuted from the aircraft. The FBI's extensive record on D.B. Cooper describe him as a white male, 6'0", tall, 170 to 175 pounds, age mid-40s, olive complexion, brown eyes, black hair, conventional cut, parted on left. Cooper boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. He settled in his aisle seat at the rear of the 727, lit a cigarette, and ordered a bourbon and soda. Then he handed a note to Florence Schaffner, a 23-year-old flight attendant. "I have a bomb in my briefcase," it read. "I want you to sit next to me." Schaffner did as instructed. Cooper told her the rest of his demands. $200,000 and 4 parachutes, delivered on landing at SeaTac Airport. While police and airline staff on the ground scrambled to assemble the money and chutes, the pilots flew in circles above Seattle. Passengers were told that a minor mechanical issue had forced the plane to burn fuel, prolonging a flight that would normally take 30 minutes. After 3.5 hours in the air, the 727 finally landed. Having received his money in parachutes, Cooper dismissed all 36 passengers and 2 of the 6 crew members. The plane refueled and took off for Cooper's next requested destination, Mexico, via Reno and Yuma to refuel. During the first leg, with the crew of the cockpit, Cooper lowered the rear stairs and parachuted into a thunderstorm. He has never been found. The FBI followed thousands of leads to find Cooper, considering more than 800 suspects in the 5 years following the incident. Below are some men who have been considered suspects. While the FBI spent over 45 years investigating the case, Cooper's identity is still yet to be confirmed, with many sleuths unsure whether he even survived the jump. And yet the mystery has popped up in pop culture ever since, from Mad Men to Loki. D.B. Cooper suspects and theories. A number of suspects have been suggested over the years, including the likes of Barbara Dayton, William Gossett, and John List. However, the most convincing theories are detailed below. Duane Weber, World War II veteran. Duane Weber was a suspect in the D.B. Cooper case after the 71-year-old told his wife, Joe, on his deathbed, "I am Dan Cooper." After Duane revealed his secret, Joe remembered that he would sleep talk about leaving fingerprints on a plane and had an old knee injury from jumping out of a plane, while a book in the local library about D.B. Cooper had notes in the margin in her husband's handwriting. She told CBS News in 2000, "I can't walk away from it. Why would he have an old Northwest airline ticket? Why would he take me to a place where eventually the money was found? Why all of this? There's too many pieces of the puzzle that fit." Meanwhile, FBI agent Ralph Himmelsbach, who was assigned the case 29 years prior, added, "He does fit the physical description. He does have the criminal background that I have always felt was associated with the case." Kenneth Peter Christensen. Army paratrooper Kenneth Christensen, who was also a Northwest Orient Airlines flight attendant, became another suspect after he tried to make death confession to his brother Lyle in 1994. According to Lyle, Christensen told his brother, "There is something you should know, but I cannot tell you." As for other evidence, Lyle Christensen wrote in a letter that he was watching an Unsolved Mysteries episode about the Cooper case in 2003 and was convinced that his brother was a dead ringer. For the sketch of D.B. Cooper, Richard McCoy Jr. Richard McCoy was a Vietnam helicopter pilot and former Sunday school teacher who, 5 months after the D.B. Cooper hijacking, took over a plane flying over Utah and demanded a $500,000 ransom. He jumped out of the plane and was caught by the FBI a few days later with $499,970 of the money. The FBI believed he was Cooper, and he was sentenced to 45 years in prison. 2 years into his sentence, he escaped from prison with a few other convicts and was killed in a shootout with federal agents. Robert Rackstraw. Robert Rackstraw was a pilot and Army veteran who became the suspect in the D.B. Cooper case after investigators noticed a resemblance between him and the drawings of Cooper whilst investigating him for another crime in 1978. Rackstraw served on helicopter crew during the Vietnam War and after being discharged in 1971, tried to fake his own death by jumping out of a plane over Monterey Bay, according to Thomas Colbert, the author of The Last Master Outlaw, a book arguing the case that Rackstraw was D.B. Cooper. Dan D.B. Cooper was an ordinary shy man, allegedly in his mid-40s, who bought a ticket on a Northwest Orient Airlines plane that was heading for Seattle, Washington. While wearing a white shirt, a black tie and business suit, D.B. Cooper reportedly paid for his plane ticket in cash. Cooper drew little attention from the crew when boarding the plane since he appeared to be just another quiet passenger. The man sat comfortably and unsuspectingly as he drank a bourbon and soda, and D.B. Cooper identified himself with this pseudonym in order to protect his real, and still unknown, identity. The name D.B. supposedly came from the press, using the initials to refer to him in their reports. Cooper moved next to the window so that when Shafter returned, she sat in his aisle seat. He opened his suitcase wide enough for her to get a glimpse of wires and 2 cylinders, potentially dynamite sticks. He then directed her to return to the cockpit and to tell the pilot to stay in the air until the money and parachutes were ready. After receiving the message, the pilot announced over the intercom that the jet would circle before landing due to a mechanical problem. Most of the passengers were unaware of the hijacking. After an extensive investigation and much consideration, the FBI concluded D.B. Cooper would not have been able to survive the cold and bleak weather on the night of the hijacking. This was further supported by asserting that Cooper's lack of skydiving equipment, his landing zone being a heavily wooded area, and his alleged lack of knowledge of the landing area makes it highly unlikely that he could have survived the jump. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.